the last time I spoke with you was for Maneater, so this is exciting that I get to talk with you again.
Yes, it is.
Um, so in regards to the flood, what was your first reaction to reading the screenplay?
It's one of these cool, fun movies that you sort of put to like Maneater, where you've got being attacked by these crazy, scary animals, and then in the flood, in particular, it's a whole bunch of things chasing after me and coming up against me, and it was kind of I sort of read it and I'm like, it's a big role. It's a lot going on, and how are we going to shoot this in 2 weeks in Thailand? But we pulled it together, so I was really excited to sort of see it and have it come out finally, because this was a complicated, enormous movie with a lot of water, a lot of challenges against us, and a tiny budget. So we made it, we did it, and it looks cool. So I'm just happy that it's out and here it is.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is. It's a very exciting, very, very big movie for having a 2 week shoot. Um, so yeah, again, you're working with water and a big creature with VFX. Do you enjoy working in this environment?
I must, because I keep going back. I mean, yeah, it's funny. I knew that this. I mean, Maneater was tricky because there was just we're in the ocean and it's so unpredictable. But the flood was, we spent the whole movie in those sludgy water conditions from the very beginning, and the water's rising throughout the movie, and we're in these big filthy factories that they're filling up with water trucks, with water, and it's just dirty and uncomfortable, and we're in heavy clothing, like all that equipment on me, and as women we're like, oh, even the guys, but we're like, it's very uncomfortable, and then you got to move and act, and we're doing night shoots because it was so hot in Thailand, so it's very tropical vibe, and the water was sort of cool, but it's just a lot going up against you, and then you got to think about the electricals dropping in the water. I mean, this is all stuff you've got to take into account, and we didn't have a lot of time. A lot of those fight sequences and the sequences we had to put together were done on the spot then and there, and all that stuff's hard, but I just like the challenge. Like, I'm a very physical person, and I like I like the movement of it all and the challenge. So I feel quite accomplished once I get home.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Um, and you play Sheriff Newman in this film. Can you briefly describe who she is and then what your favorite part of playing her was?
There's not a huge amount of space for her to have a lot of character development in this, but you can see pretty much straight off the bat that she runs the show. She takes after her father. It's a family thing for her. She's been in it, taking after her father's footsteps. So you can see that there's that sort of drive to maybe want to do him proud. She's sort of dealing with a bunch of sort of like funny, people that work for her that are sort of a bit goofy and a bit annoying, that frustrate me. And then, I think it's more everything that comes up against her in this movie, the unpredictable flood, this group of prisoners that need to come into her place for the night, and then the other crooks that try and break in and come after them. And then we've got the alligators that join in. So I've got everything up against me, and I'm kind of trying to figure out who's safe to be around. I've got to keep these horrible men alive, even though they're trying to kill me. So it's a manipulation and a game of who do you trust. And at times I've got to be so strong, and she's the only woman amongst all these dudes. So it's very, it's you really, when you're in that much masculine energy, the most powerful thing you can do is be as feminine as possible with all that masculinity. You sort of try and match it, but it doesn't sort of make sense. So it's this kind of interesting, energetic play with everybody.
Nice, nice. Um, I'm glad that you mentioned the word trust because your character and then Casper's character have a very interesting arc where there is that trust element. And I was wondering if you could talk a little more about the exact moment for you and for Sheriff Newman when you both realized that you could trust Casper and his character.
I like to believe that it happens when he steps off the bus. The minute she sees him, she's been told, now she doesn't know at that stage that he's a cop killer. She's told a little bit later on. But if you see the way Casper plays it, Casper, you can see that he could go either way. But for some reason, I believe that my character sees something different in him. And he also doesn't look like the other thugs. He kind of, there's something different about the way he looks. There's a brokenness to his character, that something's not right about calling him a cop killer. And I think she sees that early on. And there's a moment, I think, when I give him a gun, or there's an exchange, because I just know. And you do see that come through in the end. I love that was one of the things I really liked about the script, actually, was how they have this. I wish we'd had more time to connect his character and mine, but the script, it's very hard to have an action-packed movie where we're all running for our life, we've got everything against us, and for two people to connect. Do you know what I mean? It was sort of like, even the scene we have where we talk upstairs, even that I felt needed to move quicker, because realistically we didn't have time, so. But at the end, you sort of, without giving too much away, yeah, there's always room for things to happen.
It's always nice when there's that human element to the action and horror and everything.
Yeah, it needs it. And Brandon shoots action so well, our director. And I wish we'd had a little bit more time to have a few more moments with each of all the characters, because these men are fantastic. They're brilliant actors, all of them, and they're so fun. And I just wish there was more time to have developed all our characters. Absolutely.
Sure. What is something that you hope the audience takes away from watching this?
I hope they get lots of anxiety from it. No. Well, it's an adrenaline driven kind of, that kind of movie. The alligators are going to be chomping people up. They're going to be running. Who survives? I just want them to be like, cool, fun. We go to the movies to feel something. These movies are designed to scare people and shock people, and who's, kind of have that energy. So I hope it brings that to them. That's what it's there for. It's there to entertain and to give you a feeling. And that's the fun thing about these kinds of movies.
That is for sure. I hate to keep harking back to Maneater, but now that you've fought off sharks and alligators, which one was easier for you or for your characters?
If you were to ask in real life, I would much prefer to come across a shark in the waters. Sharks are not dangerous the way we portray them in movies. It's quite sad, because sharks are actually quite beautiful, and there's very rarely as many shark attacks as we say there is. But as shark movies, for some reason, Jaws sort of set that vibe that sharks are scary, So, thing with alligators and crocodiles, they're swimming in water and on land, and they're fast and they're quick and they're ruthless. They're very reptilian. They don't have any kind of, I don't know, they're just out for a full meal. Whereas, to the knowledge I know, I don't know a great deal about them, but I think I would say alligators are more scary.
I don't have experience with either, so they're both very scary for me. For sure.
Listen, I'm not about to jump in a tank with sharks. I'm just saying, yeah.
Is there a creature that you would like to work with in the future, whether it's in water or on land?
I have so many creatures now. I mean, I did an alien movie at the start of the year where there's an alien chasing me. I mean, there's so many things that I have done. Who knows what's next? I'm always open to fun script. All of this is fun. I'm open to anything that comes at me next. I come from Australia. I come from a country where everything will kill you. Every animal is dangerous. I don't know. Who knows what's next? I don't know if I want to do a spider or a snake movie. I work on a rescue facility out here in LA, and I'm always like, if we were to work in Australia, every time I would lift a branch, there'd be a deadly spider under it. Out here, it's not so bad, but we do have rattlesnakes here, which scare me. I don't want to work in a movie with snakes. I've handled snakes, a lot of them before, but I don't know. I'm just done with that.
That's fair. That's very fair. All right. I have just about a minute left, but is there anything you'd like to add about the flood?
No, I just hope everybody enjoys it. You know, it's a great cast. It's a cool storyline. These men are such badass. Lewis Mandel, Casper, all of the cast and crew, and our director Brandon. We had a blast making this movie, The Flood. So I just hope everyone gets out there this weekend, sees it. You know, there's not a great deal of movies out in theaters at the moment. You know, it has changed a bit. So, and I went to the theaters the other night, and it felt so good to go out to the theater, you know, and get popcorn and sit in a chair. So I'm telling everyone to go out and see it.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you so much for chatting. I love the movie, and thank you for your patience with my technical difficulties.
Not a problem, love. It's nice to see you again. Thank you.